Next guest, he is one of the most exciting new names in stand-up comedy. He first came to my attention in last year's Big Brother's Big Mouth. Have a look at this.
George, look at him avoiding
let George have a little go.
Okay.
And if there's... Go on. Sorry, George.
Well...
What did you want to say in response to sort of all of this?
Pete's brilliance is that he can explode, find the words, find the target, and then kiss the target he's just attacked and move on. That's his brilliance.
You are a politician, yeah? You represent this country, yeah? For you to sit back and let Pete bully other people in the house,
He's like Tracy that time.
He is bullying you, he is bullying you, but at the same time...
For yourself, if you cannot stand up for yourself, you deserve to get torn down.
That's the whole point of Parliament, is people stand up. All right, stop it! I will resort to violence. This is not a democracy. This is like Iraq in the good old days, a dictatorship. Shut up! I have got Peter Stringfellow on the phone.
Please welcome Russel Brand, ladies and gentlemen. That was quite alarming when you loomed round there, because you've got a very distinctive look about you, Russell. It was a bit like a dream.
I don't reckon I loomed, I meandered.
You meandered. There's a little bit of looming involved, if you don't mind me saying so.
I deliberately timed that walk, Jonathan, so there'd be nothing startling about it.
OK, well, I think you can't help but being a bit startling.
Do you think so?
Well, you've got a startling look about you. It's a great look. I'll be honest with you, if I thought I could get away with that, I would be there with you.
Yeah.
All right? You've got a kind of... What is that look? It's kind of like Max Wall meets Pete Doherty via Lily Savage.
Nice. Sounds like a wonderful evening.
With a little bit of Keith Richards thrown in for good measure. Do you have a stylist, or do you do this yourself?
I do have a stylist. She's called Sharon. She's excellent. But I think I look like a Dickensian gent, or perhaps an S&M Willy Wonka.
I've got a golden ticket. Hey.
Why stop at golden tickets, Jonathan, when we live in a world with showers?
I don't even understand that. Do you buy your own clothes, or are they bought for you by the show? Or, I mean, I'm assuming you go out shopping like a regular person.
I go out shopping, eh?
But are those trousers, are they ladies' trousers?
They are ladies' trousers. They're not ever so restrictive, I must say.
Well, because they're not cut for gentlemen's parts.
No, that's right. As a matter of fact, I have to live my life like that bit in Silence of the Lambs where Buffalo Bill pops his ghoulies between his legs. You know, mine are permanently there. But it makes my feminine side feel flourishing.
Well, that's a good thing, then.
I think so, yeah.
I think so as well. You know, and where do you buy the ladies' jeans from? You go to a regular ladies' jeans shop?
Yeah, I just go into a ladies' jeans shop, you know, loom round the door, freak people out a little bit. So I've come here to buy some attire, if you don't mind. Well, you know, dress me up all right nice.
Well, if they didn't know better, you might be a circus lady. You know, like a lady, like a bearded lady.
Jonathan, this is a remark designed to hurt my feelings.
Not at all. It's a good look.
A bearded lady?
I wish I looked like a bearded lady. You ask my wife. Well, not a week goes by when I don't say, why don't I look more like a bearded lady?
I think that you should work on your marriage then, because trying to incorporate this freakish behaviour would be no good for any of you.
It's a kind of a rock and roll look, in a way, as well, isn't it?
I suppose so, yes. There's an element of rock and roll about it, ain't there?
And stack heels, it's a great look.
Yeah, it's nice. Thank you for being so kind to me about my physical appearance. But, of course, beauty is transient, and one day you and I will both die, Jonathan. There will be naught but dust. Not today, though. Today's going to be lovely. I've got a good feeling about this.
Well, that's taking the wind out of my sails. Now, here's the exciting news, ladies and gentlemen. Big Brother is back on TV next week. If you're a fan of that show, then, of course, it's an unmissable part of your summer. If you're not, then it no doubt drives you mad. What on earth are you fiddling with, Mr. Brand?
My microphone has come loose. I was preoccupied.
I was worried. I thought that comment earlier about Buffalo Bill, you were trying to pull it tight.
I thought, I'll feel ever so masculine if I can just pull them taut.
Pull them up and connect it to your scarf round the back.
Jonathan, you must watch films that give you ideas like that, because I don't think your imagination could conjure that.
You'd be amazed. Big Brother is back, starts on Channel 4 next Thursday night, and your show is it's every night on E4, straight after the show, isn't it?
It's on 4 nights a week, Tuesday to Friday, after the main show on Channel 4.
OK, now, I came to your show sort of by accident, because it used to be, they change it most years, don't they?
I came to yours very deliberately.
I think you know what I mean, though. I didn't even know it was on necessarily, and I really enjoyed it, and I found your style really made it work for me. It's quite a peculiar show. How would you describe it?
I describe it like it's like Kilroy, but only talking about Big Brother, and there is no racism allowed.
Oh, okay.
We just talk about the show and just go, oh, this has happened within the house, and build it up into hoopla, you know, but don't take it too seriously.
But it seems to be, is it more or less the same crowd of...
John, you're inadvertently giving me the finger.
I didn't mean that.
I'm a sensitive lad.
My subconscious is running wild tonight.
Blimey. Thank God my jeans are this tight. You could wear me like a puppet.
There he is. Cheeky Russell.
I want to do my own voice. If I had suffering the indignity of your hand in my bottom, at least be able to speak to people.
Maybe just on your back. Can we just have that instead?
I suppose so, yeah.
I'll tickle you when you should open your mouth.
Blimey. That's what my love life's like anyway.
No. Were you, Russel Brand, a fan of Big Brother before they came and offered you this show?
I was not. I did not watch it. I was ever so busy doing other stuff.
OK, so when you got the job, you were watching it more or less innocently for the first time?
Yeah, I came to it newly, right, and I enjoy it very much. Do you watch it?
I watch it. I like it. I always try and resist it. Every year I say to myself, I'm not going to watch it this year. I'm not going to get sucked in by a bunch of, let's face it, normally quite sad and damaged individuals being forced into difficult circumstances, almost to the verge of a breakdown, sometimes performing unnatural acts with wine bottles in front of the nation.
Alluring, though.
And now I find myself that I've saved it on the Sky Plus and I watch it again and again. Last year, George Galloway doing robotic dancing in a leotard is still one of the single most frightening things I've seen him out of.
It's extraordinary, that, isn't it? That he would do that and then expect to be accepted back into mainstream culture again, and having done it.
And getting even more votes.
I can't imagine. It's a sort of, it becomes a vote for erotica, don't it, if you vote for George Galloway now? Feline erotica. What you're essentially saying is I find cats attractive, sex-wise.
No, that's not what you're saying.
That's what the Respect Party is.
It's the eroticised feline party.
In a manner.
The EFP.
After a fashion.
Do you ever worry, though, Russell, that they're pushing people a bit too far? Because sometimes it does concern me. I think they've got people in there, and then some of them do seem a little fragile, particularly the celebrity bunch they did last time.
I don't worry about that, because I just think it's not my business. I just think this is entertaining, I think. You know, just watch it as entertainment and try to divorce myself from moral obligation.
Okay.
I save that for my private life.
OK. OK, well, Russell's mentioned his private life, and we should talk about this because, man, you have had quite a life, haven't you? Quite an extreme life.
Yeah, I have. I've been alive and that, breathing in and out for ages, right up until now.
But how old are you?
30 years I've been alive.
OK, you seem to have crammed a lot into those 30s, is what I'm saying. A lot of experience, a lot of
These
things
trousers are like a metaphor, all crammed in with the dirtiest bits tucked round the back.
Let's start, if we may, then, with the knees. OK, stand-up comedy.
Yes, I like doing that. That's my favourite thing.
That seems to be your favourite thing. I've never seen you actually doing a whole act live, but I've seen some of the stuff on tape. And it struck me as being not only very funny and very inventive, but also it does seem to draw quite directly on your experiences.
Yes. I feel like, you know, when something dead embarrassing and humiliating happens to you, to me it happens all the time. It's a constant, incessant... like my life is just embarrassing incidents strung together by telling people about the embarrassing incidents, really. So if I'm not here talking about them, I'm out there having them. So I might be reluctant to leave at the end, but I might cling to this allegory for authority that you sit behind.
Oh, you saw through that, did you?
Yeah, it represents authority.
Yeah. But, you know, when I say you lived a life, let's talk about something. You know, you had a drug problem for many years, or did you not consider it a problem?
I got a little bit addicted to heroin. OK,
well, that, I think, on most people's scale, seems pretty much a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, the trouble with heroin is, Jonathan, it's a bit Moorish. Once you start...
Hold it.
It's very difficult.
Why do you say heroin like that?
Heroin? I like to belittle it. I don't recommend it, you know. I've not come on here to endorse heroin, for heaven's sakes. That'd be a terrible message. Not when I've got to push my main message of tuck your ghoulies between your legs. Yeah. That's what I'm here to promote.
Has that replaced heroin in your life, do you think?
I think it has, you know. Yeah. The highs, Jonathan, the lows are terrible, but the highs, when you see it in the mirror and you think, oh, I could be a lady. It's nice.
I'll be honest with you, I've done that quite recently as well.
Have you?
Nothing wrong with that. I might have done it this afternoon.
Well, you may have.
Yeah, after a bath.
Really? After a bath, you've done it?
Yeah, well, I don't want to do it before a bath, do I?
That'd be impractical and unhygienic, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Carrying on in that fashion, we live local to each other, don't we?
Do we?
Yeah.
Have you seen me doing it through a window or something?
As a matter of fact, I have. I think I was inspired to do it by you.
And there at night, I thought it was an owl sitting outside. So you can see how I made that simple mistake.
I wish I had the courage to tell you what that hooting was.
All right, but you've lived a lot.
Yeah.
As I said, you know, not necessarily things that I would have thought you're particularly proud of sometimes. And you've been arrested quite a few times, haven't you, Russell?
Always used to be getting arrested.
Well, how many times have you been arrested, do you think?
I think maybe 11.
OK, well, I've never been arrested once.
Oh, it's ever such a laugh for a while.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. You mustn't take it too seriously.
Well, you see, I think maybe that's where you had problems in the past. It's not taking it too seriously.
Ah, yes.
What was the... let's deal with the lighter side of the police force. What was the silliest thing you think you were arrested
I would have
for?
to say, Jonathan Ross, that my daftest arrest would be this one, what I'm about to speak of now, from my face. Right? It's awful, this anecdote, because of the first sentence to it makes people lose sympathy for me.
Okay.
Here is the first
Well,
sentence.
hold on a second then. Let me ask you not to judge too harshly. I don't know what this is going to be yet, so I might want to be the first to judge him harshly. But before he speaks, let's all give him a chance. Okay.
Thank you, Jonathan. So the story begins thusly.
Yes.
I was stealing porn from an all-night garage.
Okay, well, and they can arrest you for that?
It's a bit draconian, ain't it?
So who caught you? How were you apprehended?
One was, I was looking up at the pornography, and of course I was on drugs, so I can't be held fully culpable for my actions.
Okay.
I was beneath what I like to call my drug-brella, beneath which I can't be damned.
Yeah.
The drug-brella protects me from condemnation.
What you're saying is you paid the price for that because the drugs themselves were a mistake.
Them bloomin' drugs.
Yeah, yeah. And you
Them were nearly the ruin of me.
You acknowledge that now, and you are now, we should point out, you are now a clean and sober individual.
3.5 years clean.
Well, congratulations. 3.5 years clean, that's a good thing. Russell, congratulations. I mean that. I know it must have not been easy, I would imagine.
Oh.
So let's go back then. Now we've clarified that. You're under the drug-brella. Was it called the
Drug-brella.
The drug-brella. Oh, forgive me. OK.
I was neath its shelter.
OK. Sheltering under the drug-brella.
Yeah, right. I looked up at that pornography and I found it stimulating because it is designed with that in mind. I took the pornography, I stuck it in my jacket like that to conceal it from any eventual authority figures what might want me not to have it for nothing nor nothing. Then I turned round and it was an officer of the law just stood there. He goes, you better put that magazine back.
Well, that's common sense.
Yeah, I took him at his word and immediately placed it back on the shelf. But by now, I'd entered into a dynamic that was going but one way, Jonathan. And that way was to the cells. Chokey, I calls it. Right? So then, right, he goes, right, stop looking at me, for I were looking at him. Yeah. And, and I took that as that seemed like a challenge to me.
Russell.
I carried on looking.
Russell. How were you looking at him? Were you looking at him in a crazed, druggy kind of way, do you think?
I was looking at him like I wouldn't mind having a bit of a cuddle.
Many of us think that we don't get enough cuddles.
I feel that, and I think the police sometimes need a little bit of a cuddle, and that's why they get so officious.
But he was angry about this cuddle offer.
He was cross. He said, if you didn't stop looking at me in that manner, by the time I count to 5, I'm going to arrest you.
So, he has given you a chance here.
All right, yeah, but the conditions were very narrow and restrictive.
He's given you till 5. I think that's fair enough. He could have said 3.
Well, actually, by 3, he was getting quite agitated.
Well, why so?
And that's just as my striptease were rotting up. That man knows nothing of the narrative of erotic dance. So, what I'd done, like, he goes, stop looking at me, 1, and I carried on looking at him, and he went 2, I carried on looking at him, he went 3.
3.
We know how this goes, then I went, I love you. Like that. And he went, you're nicked. And he all arrested me right up nice and tight with handcuffs, took me in the back of his van, left me in Hampstead Police Station just round the corner, so it was a better class than Nick. And then, like, thank you very much.
What did you get charged with? Attempted theft of a magazine? What's the charge there?
Because he considers my behaviour to be erratic and abusive, so it's like abusive to a police officer and drunk and disorderly.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, I was merely offering you love, officer.
But
I think the crime lies with you.
You couldn't receive your love.
Yeah. If loving all humanity is a crime, you better lock me up and throw away the key.
Yeah. It might have been the smack use, though, that he got to first, I imagine.
Eventually, that was the legal loophole that he got me with.
There's always a loophole, and there are your silly drugs. Yeah. OK, another thing I read about you is that you were a sex addict.
Ooh, blimey, there's an accusation.
Now, is this... You have spoken about this on stage, you have described yourself in these terms?
No, I haven't, because what it is, Jonathan, is, you know, them girls, yes. Them others, them what's not us.
Hard to resist.
I likes them. That's all it is. It's nothing more complex than that. Sometimes I like a bit of a cuddle or to go out with one on a date, a bit of flirting.
But that's a lovely thing.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I like girls ever such a lot.
But do you like them, you think, more than is perhaps good for you sometimes?
I don't know. What would be too much liking girls?
Well...
Standing outside your window, hooting like an owl, just because you're posing with a pretend vagina. Is that an ookie?
You know, I so wish I hadn't cut my chest together as well now, because I think that might have tipped you over the edge.
That cemented it. You like a cuddle. You write like birds and that. I know about it.
I love women. I love the look of women. I like the sound of women. I like the shape of women. I like the smell of women. I like the feel of women.
Yeah.
I occasionally like the company of women as well.
Right, so, and imagine that, but you weren't married and didn't have no kids, like what I am. Brilliant.
Now, not only do I see the method in your madness, but I'm slightly depressed. But have you not found someone that you'd want to spend some time with, more than just the brief, casual, electric, dynamic tension and then fulfilment of a one-night stand?
No, I like that last one. All that tension. No, Uma, I'm a little bit in love with her.
Uma's beautiful, isn't she?
Isn't she nice? She's sort of ethereal, isn't she, and magical.
She is a very beautiful woman, and I would have thought about the right height for you, because you're not a short fella.
No, she too looms, didn't we? We could loom together, the two of us, like great redwood trees, and when we died, it would be like they were falling, like that. Someone would shout timber, and that would be like the echo of our final orgasm.
We're back... We're back to the finality of death again with Russell. I get the feeling that's what colour and informs not just your act, but most of your life.
Yeah, it does. The inevitability of death, Jonathan, means we must live every moment as if it were our last, you know, enjoy it a bit.
There's only one thing more inevitable than death, I feel.
What's that?
And that's when your time on that couch comes to an end.
Is it approaching, Jonathan? Am I going back out to the embarrassing place?
It's not an embarrassing place.
The world.
Think of it more as a kind of holding pet, as a more of a resting space.
All right. I'll just go have a little rest.
Russel, what a joy to have you here. I've always
nice
enjoyed you on
here.
TV, but you're funnier in the flesh than I had imagined possible. So congratulations on being a very funny and very talented young man.
Thanks for being so nice to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Russel Brand. Russel Brand, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.